Hello everybody and welcome back to Red Eagle Politics. Make sure you guys like this video down below and subscribe to the channel if you are new. So, it's been a while. We were gone a week. We're back. We're getting the new studio set up. And I thought I would put out a video because it's been so long. And we're going to be talking in this video about the Senate race that's coming up in 2024 for the state of Arizona. A razor thin battleground state. And a lot of people are writing Republicans off. They're saying Ruben Gallego is going to be the next senator. And I'm not saying that it's a slam dunk for Republicans per se, but I will say that Republicans do have a very good chance to win. If anything, looking at certain metrics, they may be favored. Now, let's look at the main fundamentals. We could talk about which candidates are going to run because it's true that a lot of establishment candidates, or just more establishment-friendly candidates per se, are not going to run, and some candidates that have appeal to the more MAGA wing of the party, but still are established politicians, people like Kimberly Yee, for example, who won big in 2022, people like Debbie Lesko, for example, who a lot of people on both sides of the party say would be solid candidates that would win. They're not running. So just want to make that clear. It's more likely than not going to come down to Mark Lamb, who is the sheriff of Pinal County, and he's running a campaign focusing on border security, which is, I think, a good thing. And then you have Blake Masters, who fell short last time, who is running again. He's looking for revenge. And Kari Lake, who narrowly fell short in the governor's race. She may be back for electoral revenge per se and is expected to make the decision in the coming months or so. Now, Lake is attacking Masters. You have Masters' supporters attacking Lake supporters. We're going to get into that later in this video, but I just want to make it clear. Republicans can win this race. They absolutely can win it. Anybody telling you otherwise is either brain dead or lying to you. That's not saying they're guaranteed to win. Even the prediction mafia, they're saying toss-ups, whatever. I don't care about these early polls. Sinema's not going to get 26% of the vote if she runs as a third party, which she already has announced, it seems. So beyond that point, she's going to get a lot of donor money. She shouldn't be fully counted out, but she's probably going to end up with 10% of the vote. And the more of the vote she gets, the better. And this is what people don't understand. Democrats, partisan Democrats, and people, mainly younger voters, and definitely the more Bernie wing of the party in Arizona, they're going to line up behind Ruben Gallego. And Sinema's going to get some of the moderate Democrat endorsements. By the way, just want to throw this out there. She votes like a partisan Democrat. Her voting record is not going to be much different than somebody like Ruben Gallego. She just plays the optics game. Democrats dislike her for that. Republicans, many of them have fallen to the snake that she is, and they're like slightly sympathetic. Oh, Sinema isn't that bad. Yes, she is. Look at her voting record. Look what she stands for. There's this need for Republicans to feel like the urge to be wanted by people in their opposition. And if she really was wanting to be a Republican, she would have become a Republican, or her voting record would actually be moderate. But instead, what she is she is a fake moderate. She is really not much different than Mark Kelly on the issues, and she's not likable. She's gone. That's good. So what this does do is it opens up this three-way race. Now, Republicans are not going to be voting for Sinema en masse like some people think. And some Republicans, the McCain Republicans, they're not going to vote for Kari Lake. They're not. You're right. But they're also likely not going to vote for Trump. And I'm not saying that Trump is going to win Arizona, but he can win the state with 48, 49%, depending on the third parties. I think he gets around 48% at a minimum in the state. He's got a high floor and he's got a low ceiling. That's how Arizona works. And if you're a Republican and you end up getting 48%, you're going to have down ballot effects because Sinema's going to win over those cringy, suburbanite, squishy voters. Make no mistake about it, many of which are not voting for Trump. Some of them might, but many of which are not going to be voting for Trump. They'll either be voting third party at the top of the ticket, or they'll be voting for Biden. So looking at that, you can kind of tell that Republicans have a very good chance at winning this race. I'm not saying it's going to be a cakewalk. I'm not saying it's going to be guaranteed. But then we have to focus on the candidate because it seems like the establishment's crying, oh, well, there's there's no candidate in this race that's like a total neocon that can ride the electability wave, which, by the way, may not exactly work. Anyways, these people really think that if they got their way in the nominating process in 2022, that the midterms really would have gone a whole lot different. And even though I think the candidates would be better funded if the establishment got their way, I don't believe that they would have won because they would have had massive base issues stemming from divided primary fields the same way we saw it this cycle. So I kind of want to avoid that, but it seems like the candidates running for Senate are all on good terms with each other. Lake, Masters, Lamb, it seems as if Steve Daines is committed to funding this race. He said he would fund Kari Lake if she runs for Senate, if she campaigns, and if she leaves 2022 and 2020 kind of in the rearview mirror and talks about 2024. And if so, Lake will get the funding. Her positive qualities from 2022 will come back to a lot of Republicans' minds. She'll have a very good shot. Now, I think Masters is my preferred candidate. And some people may be upset with this because I put the poll out. Lake got 67% of the vote. Masters got 24%. Lamb got 9%. So I don't know why this is. People like Lake more. They know Lake more. I like both of them. I will vote for either one. I would vote for Mark Lamb if he was to get the nomination as well. But I feel like Masters is going to have this unique position where he's in the primary field. And because the establishment just hates Lake more, he'll get more funding. And that was the problem last time. He didn't have enough funding. In the primary, he got funded by Peter Thiel. Peter Thiel abandoned him in the general election, and he ended up falling short. And he wasn't able to defend himself. He couldn't reinvent his image. They hit him with Social Security, Medicare, this, that, and the other thing, which, by the way, he's going to have to look in the mirror and assess what went wrong on his end in 2022. A lot of that was funding. That was definitely 2 to 3 percentage points of that 4.9% loss that he had. But nevertheless, he is the type of guy I think that can learn from his mistakes whatsoever. And that's the way I see it right now. Now, Lake is somebody who I like. I would just rather have her stay in the media. I think she would be a very good attack dog for President Trump ahead of the 2024 presidential election. I think she would be a phenomenal press secretary, the way she's been in the media, the way she's handled the media, and the fact that you have this ensuing divide on the right. I think in a way it's good because now we have to pick between Blake Masters and Kari Lake, and we don't have to pick between Masters and Brnovich, who himself honestly wasn't the worst candidate in the world. He was just underwhelming and very greasy. And then you had to pick between Lake and Karen Taylor Robeson. And the establishment threw so much money at those establishment candidates and trying to take down Masters and Lake, say they're fake conservatives despite being like too far right or crazy to win or something. I don't even know what their attack line is going to be moving forward, but you do have this war, this divide, which is not a good thing. You have Blake Masters getting attacked by Kari Lake on Twitter because they both know they're likely going to run for Senate. And it's like, I like both of them. I think Masters just is a little bit less polarizing. I think he can reinvent his image, and I think he could ride the coattails of Donald Trump for victory while Lake stays in the media, and she's more polarizing, which is good. She could be Trump's press secretary, would do a great job. But electorally speaking, would I think that she's a better fit for her home state or her birth state of Iowa than Arizona, where you have all of these cringy voters in Maricopa County? Yeah, obviously. But still, I would support either nominee. I want to make that clear. I'm not attacking Kari Lake. I think the attacks on Lake are dumb, and I think the attacks on Masters are dumb, but I think Masters is just more focused right now on 2024 to the point where I think he would have a better shot at victory. The primary can change my mind. I'm leaving it open for sure. In terms of my support, it's definitely something that could change depending on what happens, but either way. And some people are going to say, well, Lake's ahead in the polls for the primary. Well, she was ahead in the polls by a lot in the primary before they started spending a lot of money against her. If the same thing happens again, that polling lead is not going to exactly stay the same. And she has parts of her party that probably are not going to end up backing her. So if they consolidate behind one candidate, it's probably going to be the not Lake candidate. But Masters is good enough on his own. I mean, he's great. He's great on policy. He's intelligent. I've met both of them. I like both of them. I'm not attacking either one. But still, I think Masters can win the primary, just like even though you look at Montana, the establishment is pushing for Tim Sheehy at an insane rate, but still he's down in the polls like 60-20 because he hasn't really got that much funding yet. The campaign season isn't underway. Name recognition is low. Who knows who Trump's going to endorse in that race? We'll have to see what happens between now and the primaries, but it's interesting to see what's going to happen. But like I said, this is a winnable race. I'm not saying that Masters or Lake are going to walk away with it. Funding is going to be a problem again, but it's a presidential year. Funding didn't matter so much in 2020. Funding doesn't matter so much down ballot in general. You saw George Santos win a heavily Democrat district, or at least compared to districts that Republicans hold, just because Lee Zeldin overperformed vastly in those New York suburbs back in the 2022 midterms when he was running for governor. So it's important to take all this into consideration, to keep it in mind. Comment down below who you're going to support. I support Blake, but I'm open to Kari. But I probably would support Masters down the stretch. He is my number one. As of right now, things can change. You know, candidates have gaffes that kind of shake things up for sure. We haven't really seen how is Lake going to handle things. Is she going to run a campaign on her past grievances like the establishment claims? Or is she going to run a campaign that is focused on policy, focused on the issues ahead of us for 2024 and beyond? That's what it's going to come down to. But either way, this is a winnable race. Make no mistake about it. We will see what happens at the end of the day. But Arizona, this might be the last chance to get a Republican senator, but they've been blessed with that field being so divided because you have Sinema likely taking more Dem voters away. I don't know why people think that she's going to get this ridiculous chunk of Republicans. Obviously, if for some reason you do see by election day, oh, Sinema's getting 30% in the polls and the Republicans are lagging behind, like maybe then, but how? I can't see it happening. I don't know what the pretext to that would be just yet. But we'll have to see what happens in the primary and the general election. So anyways, guys, thanks for watching this video. Like this video down below, comment down below, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell for notifications so you never miss another video. Follow me on social media. The links are all in the description down below. As always, guys, thanks for watching. Red Eagle, out.